equals 1n. Now this looks like a lot like our utility maximization problem with a very important difference. What is that? What's different? Why is it different? Anybody ever thought about that? Why is this problem different than the utility maximization problem? Why couldn't I just replace py with just u? Why couldn't I put a u here? Yeah. Yeah, well, yes, it's actually the... Yeah, what is it though? It's because you can trade the output, right? You can, like the thing I couldn't do is like, let's assume I was like really great at producing utility, right? Say I was like had the greatest utility machine in history, right? And I was just really good at like producing utility. So I could take goods and transform them into enormous utility. And assume utility was something you could quantify. Biologists could measure like, man, that's a lot of utility, okay? Would that turn that, so that's what I'm saying. Let's assume it could be measured and it was quantitative and all these other ideas. It was ordinal. Would that make that problem into this one? That's the key, is I can't trade the output, right? That is, I can't say, I'll give you my goods, you produce a bunch of utility with it, and then trade them back to me, right? That's what we can do with the output that we couldn't do with utility, that really has nothing to do with it not being ordinal, and it has nothing to do with it not being measured. It's that it's not transferable. You can't trade it. You can't like say, I'm going to produce all the utility where some guys are really good at watching TV. So we're going to let them watch TV. And other people are really good, you know, at doing something else. We'll let them do that, and then we'll trade the utility. We can do that in production. I can be really good at making widgets, and you can be really good at making something else, and we specialize in production. But the production of utility is intrinsic to consumption. That's what we're assuming. Now, we've been able to move more and more goods into the marketplace, right? That is, you don't have to produce as much for yourself as you did before. If we get into a kind of household production view of the world, then you actually can move things out of what we would call utility, which is all the things that happen maybe in the household, into the marketplace. And so that is a more realistic phenomenon. But fundamentally, the whole idea of satisfaction is it doesn't have this objective measure. It's not something, it's ordinal, not cardinal. Number two, it's not directly measurable. And number three, it's not transferable. Whereas this output is all three of them. It's ordinal, it's measurable, and it's transferable. And that's what really separates the production problem from the utility problem. People get the idea? And that's why when we made that where to live problem into a production problem, it got so much more traction, right? Because it just turned it into like, how do I produce where to live at the cheapest cost, right? That's like we were saying before. You could work in the factory or you could work in your car by driving. And you just were using that resource wherever it was the most productive. That's what was going on there.